It's time to go live to the Ticket Mothership, powered by the Mavs home court inside the AAC, for the Ticket's Dallas Mavericks postgame show. Brought to you by BOETexas.com and Globe Life Insurance. There's a new kid in town as Jason Kidd takes over as head coach, leading Luka Doncic, KP, and the rest of the Mavs into a new season full of high expectations. Get instant hot hoops opinions with the voice of the Mavs, Mark Followill, the Ticket's own hero of the hardwood, Justin Montemayor, and Mavs in the know-it-all, Brian Dameris. Now, on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket.
Woo! Yeah. Damn.
Oh, my God.
Another one. That one was more stressful than Game 2. I cannot believe they won that one. Welcome into the Dallas Mavericks postgame show here on the Ticket's social media channels. Whether you're watching us on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, thanks for checking us out tonight. I'm Justin Montemayor. He is David Mino. We will be with you all the way through the end of this thing tonight. Could be 30 minutes, could be an hour, could be until the Musers tomorrow.
We could go all night if we wanted to.
But we have a lot to talk about, David. Mark Followill will join us in a little bit. He will call us live from Salt Lake City to talk about this win. Brian Dameris will also call in later on in the show. We'll get his thoughts as well. But, David, you and I were watching this. We were stressed out because the end of that third quarter where the Mavs gave up that 17-point lead and ultimately got to just 1 point in the fourth, I was kind of worried about how this team was going to perform the rest of the fourth quarter, but they pulled out a nutty-gutty win.
Yeah, and this is the first time in this series they've really played with a lead. The win in Game 2, they came back in the fourth quarter. They had that big lead at halftime, 68-51. Things weren't really all smelling like roses then as Jalen Brunson had that cheap shot, had to leave the game.
Yep.
And I was holding my breath then. We went to halftime, and, we're having our halftime show that's off the air, that's not on Facebook or the Ticket or anywhere. And I'm just saying, man, Donovan Mitchell, 4 points. I'm scared. I'm scared he's going to go off in the third quarter like he did in Game 1, and he sure as hell did. And was it they didn't miss a 2-point shot in the third quarter? The Utah Jazz did. They had a 40-point quarter. And even at the end of the third, the Mavs had a 97-91 lead, but a 6-point lead just felt like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And the Mavericks couldn't move the ball. They would walk it up the court. They'd settle for bad shots, and it was night and day from the first half from what we saw in the third quarter with the Mavericks.
And even the second half of Game 2.
Yeah. It seemed like Game 2, the second half, the fourth quarter, would be impossible to replicate with what Maxey did in that fourth quarter when he finished the game making 8 3-pointers. Okay, that's good. Even though I knew he wouldn't have that type of performance again, at least the second half of the regular season Maxey seemed to be gone, where he was timid to shoot threes.
Yep.
Just when he did, it was a slow release. He was just in a huge rut the whole second half of the season. But, man, he started, and he didn't start this game, by the way. The Mavs started the same lineup they did in Game 1 and Game 2, which was a little odd to me that you'd start Powell, maybe just to body up Gobert on defense.
I just think he wanted to keep the same thing going. I mean, Powell's been starting all year.
But as soon as they checked in Maxey with about 5 minutes left in the first quarter, he hit 3 threes right away. So he continued right where he left off. And even Josh Green, man. Josh Green was awesome in the first half.
Yeah.
He was a facilitator. He had a really good pass to Dodo on a backdoor cut. That was really Josh Green's first play of the night. Let's see. He
had a couple of big steals. He was hustling. Yeah, it was completely different than the Josh Green we saw in Game 1.
He made 3 threes tonight. He was 3 of 5.
In Game 1, they weren't even worried about him. They stuck Whiteside or Gobert on him and basically said, if he shoots the 3, that's fine. We're okay with it. But, yeah, he actually made a difference in this game. And this one was really weird because just watching every possession I would not say that was an offense that should have won a playoff game because, like you said, it was slow, it was stagnant, it didn't have much ball movement, but every time they needed a big shot, they hit it. Whether that was Dinwiddie making that crazy three when he was kind of falling back, when he was playing the 1-2 man game with Dodo, that going in, or just the number of clutch corner threes they made. They are like, I don't know the numbers, but they are so reliant and so money, if I'm going to sound like a 90s movie, on that corner three. It's just, it's deadly, man. And I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't want my offense to continue to just be drive with Brunson or Dinwiddie, because it basically seemed like they alternated possessions and just figured out, how can we get Mitchell isolated, or how can we get Clarkson isolated, and then we'll go from there. But they made shots when they needed to, and they actually were finally able to slow down the drives that Mitchell was getting. Like, that's what really killed them in the third quarter. When Kleba and Powell were in foul trouble, they had to bring in Bertans as the only big man. They surrendered so many drives, and that's where Mitchell, what do you have, an 18-point third quarter?
Let's see. He had, 18 in the third. He had 4 in the first half, 18 in the third. He ended the game with 32 points. So that makes, do math, 10 points in the fourth.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way the Mavs defensive game plan, they're sticking with this through the series. And you got to say it's brilliant because, they gave up a bunch of stuff at the basket in the second half, but the Utah Jazz are shooting the second, in the regular season, they shot the second most three-pointers per game in the NBA. They were averaging about 40 three-point attempts per game, and they only took 28 tonight. So they're not shooting a bunch of threes.
And that's by design.
Oh, yes.
That's the Mavs closing out instantly. They are taking away Utah's threes. And it seemed like in the third quarter, Quinn Snyder and the rest of them, and especially Donovan Mitchell, figured out we can just drive. We'll just get to the rim and we'll score in the paint. There was even 4 or 5 possessions in a row where they finally decided to try to pass it to Gobert, even though it seems like that dude is just completely mentally out of there. He can't catch a pass. He's having issues on offense, but they figured out, let's just try to kick their ass in the paint, and it worked. But then in the fourth quarter, that kind of just went away, and we started to see Conley settling for threes, and Bogdanovich was shooting a three, falling out of bounds. They just started to try to make threes again, and that's exactly what Dallas was again baiting them into playing how Dallas wanted them to.
And seeing a bigger sample size of Rudy Gobert now, I guess it's 3 games, but you always hear how he's not really a threat on offense. But as you mentioned, when they would feed him, he just looks lost with the ball in the air. And I don't know if that's just how he's doing this series, but he has the hands of former Cowboy tight end David LaFleur out there at times.
I would have bet $1 billion that would be the last person that we would get referenced on our show today. I'm glad you did.
The ball would be sent to him, and he's, even at the end of the first half, when they had Trey Burke switched onto Gobert, you had 5'10" Trey Burke on 7'2" Rudy Gobert, and Gobert couldn't handle the ball cleanly and score at the end of the first half.
He's like 6'5" with his top pony. Trey Burke?
Maybe we can spend some more time on the spout on Sunday or sometime this week as we have a bunch of shows together.
Trey Burke loves hair bits.
I don't think I've seen him with the spout.
No.
He can pull it off.
Yeah,
he has better hair than Brunson. Brunson can ball, but I think we're both on agreement that the hair is a little...
For Brunson?
I don't know if,
Brunson...
I'm just not used to it yet.
Brunson looks like...
He has bad hair, but he has a good game.
He looks like Stephen Baldwin from Biodome.
He does.
That's always been my contention.
I didn't think we would reference Biodome in the show tonight. We have Biodome and David LaFleur.
That's what he looks like. But let's talk some Brunson, because once again, he had the 41-point game, his career high in game 2. It was amazing watching him work. And the question was, okay, Luka's not going to play again in game 3, which we're going to have to talk about what we think about game 4, but is Brunson going to be able to repeat that performance, or will the anus fall on Dinwiddie to pick up some of that slack? And Brunson had 31 points again tonight. He was perfect from the line. He didn't make a 3, but even after taking a ridiculously hard cheap foul in the second quarter, again, when you needed that guy to make you a bucket in the fourth quarter, he was able to do it. I was kind of worried because when he first came back in the third quarter, he seemed timid to not want to get to the rim, and so I was worried that his back or his hip, whatever was ailing him, was hurting or at the very least hindering him and not making him want to be so aggressive. And I was like, that's going to hurt this offense if he's not wanting to drive. But he was able to loosen up or whatever it took, and when he was able to finally, actually get there, it looked like game 2 Brunson.
Yeah, it was that and one where he got to the basket, got fouled, then made the free throw. I think that was a couple minutes into the third. So that made me breathe a little easier of, okay, he can still get to the basket. He was off the ball for quite a bit in the third. It was a lot of Dinwiddie handling the offense, which I guess that was probably by design. I'm sure Brunson wasn't 100%, but yeah, when there were many nervous parts of this game. I think the first one was that moment in the second of the cheap shot of, we're looking on Twitter and we're not seeing anything, and then there was that Bertans 3 in the corner by the Mavs bench where they're showing the replay and I'm not looking at the 3. I'm looking at the bench to see if Brunson is. Oh no, I don't see him. He must be back in the locker room. Oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. But then he came back for the third, and I guess if I'm thinking moving forward to game 4 and 5 with Brunson, I'm not too concerned about it as he was able to finish tonight's game out. They got the win, which was, man, and I kind of wish me and you could do a pregame show because I feel like we would have a lot of HSOs going into the game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they stole game 2, but I mean, the Mavericks played a pretty much perfect game, or at least a perfect second half of that game with Brunson and then Maxey getting hot and Dorian hitting the corner threes. I didn't expect them to steal a game in Utah without Luka. Now, if you would have said Luka's playing tonight, that's a different story, but I will say that even without Luka, I wouldn't see the Jazz blowing out the Mavericks in a game in this series. Just with the way that they've been playing defense, aside from the third quarter tonight, I see them playing a close game, if anything. If the Mavs were to lose this game, I thought it was going to be close. I think the line was 7 or 8. I would have taken the Mavs with that, but
so I think two things are at play here from that. One, like you said, the Mavericks have in a short time figured out a way to have enough offense at least and play their balls off on defense without Luka. In the Dinwiddie era, we didn't know what it would look like without Luka. They only had 2 games since Dinwiddie was traded here where he didn't play, so they were trying to figure that out on the fly, and that's the downfall of him getting hurt the last game of the season. But also, this Jazz team is falling apart, and they are ripping apart at the seams. We kind of knew that going in. They didn't have the strongest second half. They were blowing a lot of fourth quarter leads. They blew a 15-point lead or whatever it was to Phoenix with just a couple games left. They were falling apart, and I think they saw Luka go out in the season finale and said, wow, this might actually be the chance where we can get things going. We can beat the Mavs for a couple of games and get our heads back on. But they have done anything but that. They have now lost 2 games in a row, 1 at home without Luka, and they are facing the most pressure of anyone in the playoffs right now. I mean, I guess maybe outside of the Timberwolves who blew a 20-point lead earlier, but you have to be able to just punish them and put your foot on their throats. Now, does that mean Luka plays game 4? I don't know, but I think it's important to not let Utah mentally get back in this series.
I believe we have Mark Followill joining us now.
Good
evening, Mark.
You do.
Absolutely.
You do.
We get another fun post game.
Hey, Mark
Absolutely.
Followill.
Hey, I did that for you guys. Did you notice
I
that?
know.
Man,
We didn't catch it, but we were told about it. We
Yeah.
appreciate the love,
Out
though.
of the ch-
okay. We'll have to go back and find
after-
it.
I think
Do and follow.
Yeah, there was something I think after the coach's challenge.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's what I
Yes.
said, yeah.
I was too nervous to probably pay attention to
Yeah.
anything else that was going on in the game at that point.
We were sweating, and not because it's hot in there.
It is pretty
but
hot in Norm's office, but man.
Yeah. Well, it was a game that you had to sweat because Utah made a great run. But, I don't know what you guys obviously have covered already, but, Dinwiddie to take it to the basket twice after that, the Mavs, obviously a big story of this series is hitting their threes. However, I love the fact that whenever the game got to a crucial situation where Utah had made a run and they're beating on the door as they've made it a 1-point game, that it was 3 straight trips down the floor where Dinwiddie went to the basket twice and Brunson once. And I don't know if there were any misses in there. I don't remember, and I don't have a play-by-play sheet in front of me, so maybe there was one.
As Justin and I were watching it up here, it'd be either a few possessions where Dinwiddie would bring it up and then get a bad shot at the end of the shot clock, or Brunson.
Yeah.
Do you think the lack of ball movement could have been something to do with Brunson's injury where he just wasn't – I mean, he still got to the basket, but there was a lot of times I was wondering how much his back or side or whatever it was affecting his play.
I mean, I don't know. I can't – I mean, the honest answer to that question, David, is I don't know. But my thought process certainly went there watching the third quarter unfold. So I don't think your question is unreasonable. I just obviously don't have an answer, but I was thinking the same thing.
Are we having Followill drop out on the stream, Justin?
I don't know.
We're having?
From what we hear, maybe you're not being broadcast on the stream.
Just say
Mark.
everything.
Oh, really?
Just Mark talk, and then we'll just say the exact
Or-
same. Or we'll try to guess what he's saying.
Or yell really loud.
really?
Maybe
Yeah.
they'll hear you from Salt Lake in our microphones.
I wish there were a way that I could like Skype in on your YouTube or something like that, but I guess it doesn't work like that.
How was the arena tonight, by the way?
I'm hearing him. I hear it on
I think we're
Facebook,
fine.
so
I
we're
think
gonna
we're
keep
good.
going like we're good.
Okay. Well, the arena was, look, it was at times what I expected, but as you guys may or may not have heard us refer to, that when it got to be like a 15-point lead and 15, 16-point lead in the second quarter, I mean, it wasn't Utah. It wasn't a crazy crowd. It was a crowd that was sitting on their hands that was pissed off, to be perfectly honest with you. And as you guys, I don't know how audible it was on our telecast, but we referenced it. And I mean, did you guys hear the boos? I mean, Utah got booed off the floor at the end of the first half when it was a 17-point game. I mean, look, they got into the crowd and they got pretty crazy, obviously, in the second half when they were making their run. And so, no surprise there. But the fact that the Mavericks took them out of the game, and to the degree that they did in the first half, was, just a testament to how well they played tonight. And I don't even think that Utah necessarily played a bad game. I mean, that's probably one of the big stories of it. Well, at least on one end of the floor, they didn't play a bad game. On the offensive end of the floor, they've got to be sitting here thinking, we just lost a game when the Mavericks didn't have Luka, and we were playing on our home floor, and we shot 57% from the floor, 56.5% to be technically accurate about it, 57% from the floor, and they shot 94% at the free throw line tonight, and not on a low number. They didn't go 94% because they were 16 out of 17. They went 94% because they were 31 out of 33. Now, the Mavs, by the way, were 84%. They were 26 to 31, so the Mavs are really good in that regard, too. But, what in the world is Utah thinking?
Do you know,
a bad game.
off the top of your head, I mean, not top of your head, but have you seen their second chance points? Because this was, the first couple of games, the Mavs were vastly out-rebounded, but this game, they were tied. They both had 32.
But at 32 rebounds, 14-5 was the second chance points in favor of the Mavs tonight.
See,
So
that's
second
what.
chance points were a non-factor. Now
Yeah.
let's be fair about it. There's obviously, when you shoot nearly 57%, there isn't an opportunity for a whole lot of second chance points. So, their shooting percentage was certainly significantly better than it was in the first two games. I think they shot 43 in game one and 47.
And that's what kept them in that
game
second
two.
game was just they were firing up a ton of shots. They were missing, but they were getting second and third chances.
Yeah, which is what, Utah is very good at that because of Gobert, who led the league, and Utah as a team was fourth in the league in second chance points. So the rebounding thing tonight was that might be, I don't know. There's a lot of important things from the games. I don't want to overdo it and say that's the most important thing from the game tonight because the Mavs made 18 threes. They made their free throws. They didn't turn the ball over again a whole lot, only 9 turnovers tonight.
Yep.
They've now turned the ball over 19 times in 3 games, and tonight was their worst turnover game after 7 in game 1 and 3 in game 2. So, it probably would be it would probably be incorrect analysis for me to say that the rebounding thing was the most important part of it, but it certainly was a key factor tonight that, the Mavericks held their own. And by the way, they did that when their bigs were in foul trouble tonight. Powell got an early foul trouble, and he's not playing a whole lot in this series anyway. We'll see if things change if Luka comes back on Saturday. But Kleba had to navigate foul trouble, and so, he ended up playing, 22 minutes tonight instead of 32 minutes that he played the other night in game 2 of the series.
Despite shooting the ball just as well.
Yeah, 6 out of 7 from the floor tonight. Yeah, the only thing that short-circuited him was foul trouble tonight.
Yep.
He just came out and that is a jaw-dropping first half by what Kleba did tonight after, on the heels of what he did the other night when he'd made 12 threes in all the games that the Mavericks played after the All-Star break till the end of the regular season. And then made 8 the other night. And I don't think any of us thought, he's not going to come out and do anything close to that tonight. And then came out and I think he hit his first 4?
Yeah, he was 4-4.
He finally missed one. Yeah, he went 4 for 4, and then he finally missed one. It was, but also kudos to 2 guys who have been non-factors in the first 2 games of the series. Green tonight with 12 points and 6 assists. Most of that was in the first half. And Bertans with 15 points tonight, and most of that was in the first half. But,
all threes.
Look, part of winning the game, if you're the Mavs tonight, is you build a big lead, and then Utah expends a lot of energy coming back, and they get all the way back to the doorstep. And then, as happens, not in all NBA comebacks, because obviously some teams are able to complete these comebacks. Memphis did it to Minnesota tonight. Memphis was down 25 and came back and won that game against Minnesota. So, you guys have seen it. We've all seen it. Yes, you can come back from a big deficit. But a lot of times what happens also is you come back, you pour all that energy into coming back, and then you get right to the edge, and then you can't finish it off. And that's kind of what happened tonight. So even though the things that Green and Bertans did were primarily in the first half, that's all part of the whole equation of the game tonight. That's all part of the jigsaw puzzle of the game. Those pieces helped Dallas build a big enough lead that they were able to use that cushion to maintain it, and then once Utah spent all that energy getting back, then Dallas was able to separate and win the game in the end. So to me, this is an incredible team win tonight because Luka didn't play. Again, you're on the road. Brunson had to leave the game for 4 minutes in the second quarter because of the thing where he got hit in the back. Guys were in foul trouble tonight, and key components had to sit in the game tonight because of foul trouble, most notably Finney-Smith and Kleba. And so to be able to just keep on pushing the right buttons of Green and Bertans stepping forward, and Trey Burke in his 4 minutes again helped out the cause. I know it's not a lot, but he came out there and got fouled shooting a 3, and by the way, he got fouled in a flagrant foul. So not only did he make his 3 free throws, but the Mavs kept the ball and then hit a 3 after that. They had a 6-point possession, basically. So just the way they won the game tonight is an extraordinary collective performance with 7 different players in double figures and everybody who stepped on the floor except for Powell scoring tonight. It was great. It was great.
It seemed like Luka was pretty close to playing tonight. He was updated to questionable going into the game. Yes. I figured it'd be about 50-50. And if he wasn't going to play tonight, I was almost certain he's going to play Saturday afternoon. Just seeing him suited up on the sideline was making me happy. Yeah. Do you think this changes anything with how they handle him going into Game 4 with a win tonight? Do you think that they could rest him?
My opinion is it does not. Now, that's only my opinion. I have been of the belief all along on this and continue to feel that that's the case, that when it's a smart decision and when there's no significant risk of re-injuring and aggravating it, that he'll come back and play. And, yeah, they're being cautious and safe, but I don't think that that's being dictated by what the state of the series is. I think it's just a collective agreement on how they need to approach this. So that's my opinion. Obviously we'll see what happens Saturday, and we'll see if people are saying anything different. But based on the intel that I received today, he had a very good workout after shoot-arounds. He wanted to play.
He played
However,
basketball, soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Impressive.
Well, then,
That was
and
fun.
that's what, you guys saw that. And, then after the cameras and everybody left, after the team got done with shoot around, Lucas stayed after and went through, a fairly significant workout. The workout went well. And the medical opinion was that, yes, he's close, but it's probably in his best interest and the team's best. Everybody's the smart decision is that 2 more days of getting better, of also having a chance. By the way, I do think this factors into it. He's essentially had half a practice, and that's maybe even being generous to say that. So tomorrow there will be a practice. Now, for a lot of guys, because Reggie Bullock played 44 minutes and 29 seconds, and Dorian Finney-Smith played 46 minutes and 49 seconds, and Dinwiddie played almost 41 minutes. So those guys are going to be taking it very easy tomorrow. But Luka can scrimmage 3-on-3 or probably with some low-minute guys. And so I think that there was a desire to give him a more a practice that more replicates game conditions to the degree that it can. And so I think that's another reason why they held off on playing him tonight, is he'll get a chance to go through some practice tomorrow and have a good hard workout tomorrow. And, if he comes through that okay, which he came through what he did today just fine, then he should be in position to play on Saturday. Now, plans can change and that sort of thing, but what I was told today by a person close enough to the situation that I trust significantly is that's the roadmap, and that's the way the Mavericks look at it at this point.
I kind of wondered if they lost, does that change anything? Because you don't want to, you probably don't want to face going down 3-1 and then Luka comes back. But I mean, arguments can be made for either one. With them being up 2-1 now, you can say at worst they come home in a best-of-3 series with 2 games being at your place, or which by the way, before you go any farther, I'm sorry to interrupt, but in my humble opinion, we would have dropped down on our knees and, to quote our old buddy Mike Reiner, thank the good, sweet, clean Lord Jesus Christ, that if Luka missed the first 3 games of the series, to be 2-2 after 4 games, we would be ecstatic over that and be, and have him back with a game under his belt and in position, to have 2 of the last 3 games at home in a best-of-3 series. And by the way, look, they could even be in better shape than that. We'll see what happens on Saturday, of course. But everything right now is exceeding all hopes and expectations. I think that's a fair characterization.
Yeah, this is just the absolute best case scenario of the season. If someone would have told you that the Mavs would be up 2-1 after 3 games without Luka, and Brunson's going to score a career high, Maxi Kleber is going to be shooting like he's shooting the best he shot in his career, and they're not going to be Utah's not going to be shooting 43s a game. It seems like they're going to be the Mavs' perimeter defense has been really good in this series. It's the absolute dream scenario.
Utah's now made 27 threes in 3 games. Their typical 2-game average of made threes would be almost 29. They've made fewer threes in 3 games than what they average making in 2 games. Can you believe that? It's a great game plan, though. It's a great game plan. I mean, tonight, even when the beginning of the game felt like, oh, gosh, Utah is driving at will. And they were, by the way, especially in the third quarter, they were driving at will because Eric Paschall coming in the game opened up the floor for Utah. But even then, they still shot more 2s in the third quarter than they did 3s. And I know, I'm not, 14 of 18 and 40 points. I mean, that's not very good defense. But the fact that it wasn't like a massive 3-point barrage, that they went 10 for 10 on twos and 4 for 8 on threes in the third quarter. But
and that was when Powell and Kleba weren't playing. That was when you had Bertans as your only big because they were both sitting.
Yeah,
with
you didn't have
double.
you had no rim protection. But also, I think the way Utah played at that point. I mean, look, my thought on the game as it was all unfolding, to be honest with you, is that Utah did not look anything like the team I expected them to look like tonight. And not being close to the situation. I know that we talked about this, but maybe we are underestimating the broken nature of the psyche of this team, because that looked like that was the case to me tonight for 2+ quarters. But one thing that changes it is you put a guy who doesn't have any of the past playoff baggage and any of the past, whatever is going on with relationships amongst players, that baggage, and a guy who's never been in the playoffs, and he's young and hungry like Eric Paschall, and he changed the game. And some of it is just how they played. I mean, the floor is spread at that point, and there's a lot of driving lanes, and so it's Mitchell and Clarkson and all those guys, and even Paschall himself driving once and knocking down a three and just playing with energy. I mean, he gave them life for a team that, quite frankly, looked pretty lifeless to me for a long period of time. So that was certainly a change in the game tonight. But to my initial point, I mean, Utah just did not look like the team I expected them to look like tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the case kind of for all 3 games, really. I think that's what we were kind of discussing before you got on, that Utah, they didn't end their season well, their regular season, and now
level of it in the regular season, yeah.
Yeah, and now they've lost 2 of their first 3 games while their opponent is missing a top 5 player in the league. And one of those games was at home, where you were 29-12 in the regular season, and this team, I still argued is the records has an asterisk because it's different players, but it's not won here in forever.
Yeah.
And so this was supposed to be your chance to at least slam the door in their face for a little bit until Luka comes back, and they blew that as well. So Utah is reeling right now.
By the way, I did reference your thought process tonight on the telecast.
I heard that. We talked about that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes. As a random person that I was talking to beforehand. So I'm sorry I didn't shout you out by name.
Well, next time I want you to say my name and put a picture of me in my awesome playoff sweater vest up there, because I'm wearing the winning sweater vest again.
Yeah.
Hell yes! Yeah. If they win, they get
luck.
the sweater vest, bro.
Are you going to be able to wash the damn thing tomorrow?
No. I'm the only guy
sweater
in Dallas right now wearing a sweater vest and basketball shorts.
Hey, man, well, you do you, Justin. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud to say you're my friend.
He did say during the game if Josh Green made 8 threes, he would do the show naked tonight.
And then he made his first 3.
He made 3, and we're like, oh.
And I was starting to think about my body hair situation and thinking how I could clean some of that up.
I think you'd be okay because the camera only shows you from really chest up.
Yeah.
Now I would have to see everything going on down there.
It'd have been a problem when I did the handstand.
You'd be getting I don't know what Cumulus does for overtime pay, but you better be getting hazard overtime pay or something like that. Man.
Yeah, once Josh Green missed his next 3, I was like, oh, no, dang it.
Man.
Know what, though? I mean, in all seriousness, he played a hell of a game tonight.
He did.
Yeah, and we've, this is not new ground for us. We've discussed this. He's a really smart player. He just has a very good feel for the game. He moves well without the ball, and I think he's a very underrated passer. I mean, he's not underrated by me and Harp. I mean, we bring it up, and but generally speaking, I don't think anybody went into tonight thinking on their Maverick playoff bingo card that Josh Green's going to lead the team in assists in the first half, and he did with 6.
No.
And by the way, he ends up he's tied for the team lead in the game tonight. Dinwiddie had 6 too. 6 assists. Dinwiddie had 6 assists, and Green had 6
When
assists.
Green is confident, he loves to penetrate and then just kind of figure out what to do from there. Like, I don't know that he has a plan in mind.
Wrap around 3 to Bertans.
Yes,
yeah.
He doesn't have a plan, but he knows what to do when he gets there, and that was on full display tonight.
And that seems like one of the things that he needs, and you could see the confidence in him tonight. And it might take him a while, and he's still incredibly young. He's just 21. And, I mean, just going back a year from
Jason
now.
Kidd, hey, man, Jason Kidd's a heck of a coach.
Oh, for sure.
Because most of us, I think, all were thinking, man, are we going to have to pull the plug on Green after game 1? And he was a little bit better in game 2. But look, Kidd he's pushed, I don't want to say every right button. Nobody pushes every right button. But Kidd's handling of people has been so on point this year. And Green is a prime example of that. He put Green into the rotation in early December. Whether or not Desmond Bain made that happen, we'll never know.
I'm still confident it is.
Thank you, Desmond Bain.
But it did happen. And he's just grown into a very solid bench rotation guy. And he has these attributes that we talked about tonight of, he reads the game well, he moves well off the ball, he passes well. And by the way, he was a 41% three-point shooter from March 1st to the end of the season. Now, it's not a high volume of threes or anything like that, but, that is something noteworthy. He ended up, I think, 36% for the year. And like I said, 41% from the 1st of March to the end of the year. And then, just to be able to, for Kidd to stand by that guy and support him and put him in positions where he's not in his own head. And I saw it the other day, by the way. Game 1, he came off the floor. And he was really out of sorts, obviously, in game 1. And Kidd took him out of the game. And when he came to the sideline, he's trying to sprint to the sideline because he wants to get to the bench as fast as he can because things aren't going well. And Kidd stops him, and I could see him just kind of like, just tap him in the midsection and like, you're all right. You're all right. And I mean, that is what he said to him. And, the way things have settled down now for Green and his contribution tonight was great. And I think, look, Green deserves the most credit. He's the guy who's getting out there on the floor and doing it. But number 2 on the list of discussion for credit, I don't see how that doesn't go to Jay Kidd.
Was tonight Brunson's second ever tech? It was, right?
I think so, yeah.
He had one in the regular season.
I remember that one because it was a huge deal. He'd never had one. But I didn't know if he got another one since then. And that was the most ridiculous play because he got cheap shotted by Royce O'Neal, and they put him on the hardwood. And then Brunson gets teed up for saying, "Hey, he fouled me, bro."
Yeah. Is that what he said?
I don't know.
Probably
I'm not a
something
good
like
lip
that.
reader.
I thought maybe you did some lip reading or something.
I don't know, man. I was looking for my best.
I need more confidence in you, Justin. Just say yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this or not, the very technical description of Mike Conley did a mean thing on the floor for the first time in his career tonight. Did you hear us mention that?
I did not. No.
Yeah, Conley he's officially never had a technical foul. He's been called for one and it was rescinded. So he's never been called officially for a technical, and tonight was the first flagrant foul in his 15-year career.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're getting in their heads. They're getting in. If you get one who's never had a flagrant foul in 15 years, if they commit one, I think you're fully into their head.
Now, by the way, Conley did end up with a really good game tonight, 21 points after a donut in game 2. So that was a great bounce-back game for him.
Although he missed a handful of shots late.
Yeah, he did. He did, true. And the flagrant wasn't like some sort of like malicious hard foul at the rim. It was a get underneath the guy while he's coming down for a jump shot. But I think the fact that Burt came up and obviously, had landed on Conley's feet and there was a little bit of a tweak of his ankle, I think that certainly probably had something. I'm going to assume, because it does say in the if it's not in the rule book, it's at least in the case book that is a supplement to the rule book, that, there's several components that are looked at when a flagrant foul, when the determination is being made whether or not to assess it. And the aftermath of it in terms of what happens to the player that's been fouled, that is part of it. So the fact that Burt came up and obviously had a little ankle tweak, like I said, I wonder if that factored into Conley getting the flagrant foul.
And I think anytime you land and there's a defender near you, you should do the sniper bullet reaction. And just, and then, the second the flagrant gets assessed, you're miraculously better.
Yeah.
Well, gamesmanship.
It was a great night tonight here, and I'll be the first to admit that, by the way, shout out to Hart because he felt really good about it before the game. But when we were talking before the game and he said, you think the Mavericks are winning tonight, I did kind of what I do a lot of times, especially in a road playoff game, hemmed and hawed about it. But, these dudes came to play tonight. And there was, it's a great team win. And I know I've said that before during our conversation, but the mental fortitude, winning without Luka, so many different guys contributing. And, there's just something really cool going on with this group right now. And not just right now. It started, obviously, as you guys know, December 31st when they were 16-18 and won 75% of the games the rest of the way. But it's a really cool group that plays together and plays for each other. And, no more was that evident tonight than I think the shot that we had of Luka on the bench when Dinwiddie hit that buzzer-beating three-pointer from Ogden, Utah. So
that's the second suburb.
It was Provo earlier,
Provo,
right? Provo.
Yeah.
Do you like the suburb bit?
Yeah, you went to the Rand McNally store.
You're well traveled
and saw all the suburbs.
I don't need to go to no Rand McNally store, bro. I know my maps, man. I don't need to go to the sleeping Rand McNally store to know suburbs of Salt Lake City.
To blow the dust off that lock. No one's been to one of those stores in forever. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Again, tonight you had to get 47 minutes.
I have a fold-out map of the state of Texas in my glove compartment. I do like maps, actual real maps that you touch.
Wait, so you're whipping that thing out and it's taking up the whole front of your cab and...
No. Well, number one, I don't have a cab.
And it flies out the window when you're driving?
I don't have an F1. I don't have an F-150 or anything like that. So I don't have a cab.
I thought you drove a dually.
I drive a
big Mavs dually.
A Subaru Crosstrek. So I'm Team Subaru.
Okay.
But yes, I have them. I don't ever really use it. I mean, I use my phone all the time, but I always have that in case I get stuck in a position where there's bad reception or something like that.
When's the last time you used it?
Oh, God, I have no idea. But, dude, you never know.
That's true. To your point about
It's why you carry things like that.
And then you have to move the map if you're driving south. You have to flip it over. You're just treating it like your GPS, and you're talking to yourself.
But, yeah, so Dodo played 47 minutes. Bullock played 44. Dinwiddie played 41. Brunson played 35, which that probably would have been more if he wasn't hurt. At the end of the second quarter, so they're having to play as much as they can and leave it all out there. And because I feel like this team, these, the key cogs on here, probably took it kind of personal that they heard between the end of the regular season and game one was the Mavs are effed without Luka.
Yeah, that's a pretty legit point. I've thought about that. That's kind of a weird point to get into on the home team telecast, but I think that you're onto something with that.
So if you do bring it up, remember the graphic.
Nobody may ever admit to that, but that would be human nature, And it's not that they're mad about it, but it's just that that could be a pretty motivating factor. And you could, what did MJ say during the last dance? I mean, I can't really
ate
say
the
it.
pizza.
Something about quarters on the wall?
No, he said, I took that S personal, I believe is what he said. So, yeah, I think that if some of those guys felt that way, it would not surprise me.
Have you guys thought about what this series would look like if they didn't trade for Dinwiddie? If it was KP in this series against Gobert?
You know what, though? I think that there would be some things that KP does that helps them, to be honest with you, without Luka. He would give them, kind of a little bit more of a place to go on offense. But, of course, the question that we would have had to deal with all the time was, is he available or not to play?
And I also don't think
so I don't have there's no looking back and there's no anything like that.
I don't know if they win as many games that are playing Utah in the first round either on a 4-5.
That's a good point because, he didn't start playing again. He would have missed several games out of the All-Star break, if he was on the same trajectory here that he was in Washington. I don't know if they were super careful with him there or not. I don't know what the situation was, but no, man, there's no looking back, other than Dinwiddie has helped this thing immensely. And I know that it was a slow start for him tonight, kind of was the other night, but he's still,
when they need him to make a bucket, he got it.
Yes, and or make a play for somebody else. Because remember that the 8-3 that Maxey made the other night was a Dinwiddie drive and kick. And he had, and I don't know like when all they happened, but he had 6 assists tonight.
He had one to Bullock late when Bullock hit one real late.
Go.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, and you're right. He made a lot of critical buckets late in the game tonight. I mean, 2 drives when it was to make it 105, 102, and 107, 102, and then the 3-pointer from Wes Jordan that he made late in the shot clock. So
all right. You got any more? How many more suburbs do you know?
I know what you're talking about.
He's just showing off now.
I feel like you're looking at the map.
Just like to mess with you.
He's already looking at Phoenix. He's looking forward to Phoenix suburbs.
Yeah, Phoenix.
There's a 3-pointer from Mesa.
Okay. And then go ahead and look at Memphis.
From Chandler.
Go and look at Memphis. Go and look at Philly. Just map out the whole thing.
There's a 3-pointer from South Haven, Mississippi.
He made it from West Memphis, Arkansas.
West Memphis, Arkansas. He made it from Germantown.
That's a West Memphis 3. That's a true crime reference for you, Justin. The West Memphis 3.
All right,
there you go.
Mark. We'll let you go. Drink or whatever there is to do in Salt Lake.
Well, you can drink. Would you like to hear? I had
you can go to the pizza place that Jordan got the pizza. If they're still open.
Yeah, but
I went to a better pizza place than that today, bro. Cetabello's where I went to pizza today.
Okay.
But last night, I went and had a burger at a place called Lucky 13, which is a bar. And while I was waiting for my burger, I ordered a rye whiskey neat. And the rye that I ordered was called Angel's Envy. Because that's kind of what I like to think of myself as, the envy of angels.
Right. They're looking down on you saying, I wish I could do play-by-play for the Mavs.
So it's a rye whiskey that's aged in rum casks. So it is really good. It's got like a sweetness to it, but it's incredibly smooth, and it's got a little spice that you would expect in a rye whiskey. So I had that last night before I had my delicious burger. And so we'll see if another rye whiskey neat is in my future tonight. I would like for it to be, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if like all the buses have left, so I may have to walk back to the hotel, which is about 15 minutes. But there'll be a place to stop along the way if there is. So
well, have fun.
There you go.
Remember, polygamy is a thing in Utah. I'm not saying you have to take him up on it. I'm just saying it is a thing.
Is that our motto here on the playoff post-game show? And remember, polygamy is a thing.
All right, Mark. We will talk to you again Saturday, bro.
I'm going to vote for a better motto than that. Yeah.
It's better than take note. What kind of stupid phrase is that? What does that mean? Do homework?
Because of jazz. No. Music, jazz. Take note.
But still, I've
now after 3 hours,
it doesn't strike fear into my heart.
What's the matter with you guys?
Okay.
We'll work on another
this
one.
This is having a hard time.
This post-game show is the Mavericks played a hell of a game tonight.
They did.
And
they
we
hit a
broadcasted
crescendo.
the hell out of the game and the post-game show. There you go. That's the motto.
Cool. Thank you, Mark.
Mavericks played a hell of a game. We broadcast a hell of a show.
Let's get another one.
You did a good one. You did a good job.
Let's do another one Saturday.
Yep. Thank you, Mark.
That would be great. And what's our post-game situation on Saturday for me and for our listeners? Remind me, please.
We will be back on here doing online.
Our pretty faces.
Okay. So we're headed to the airport on Saturday to come home. I will try to call in for a few minutes. It won't be very much, but I will call in for a few.
I mean, you can hold up the plane. I don't mind.
Just pass the phone over to
I'm sure they'll wait. I'm sure they'll wait for me.
Yeah, get Cubes on, get Trey Burke.
Yeah.
Get Shetter.
Hey, Theo Pinson, jump on with these guys back in Dallas. I know you're not playing.
I would love to have Theo Pinson on. He seems like a really fun guy.
He's the best hype man.
He seems really cool.
It would be a fun show.
I want to be friends with him.
Sure.
Bobby. Cool.
Bobby, talk to Justin. He's got a sweater vest on right now back in Dallas.
Yeah, man. Maybe he'll sign it for me.
All right, love you guys. Love the P1s.
Love you.
And fun times.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, see you. Bye.
I don't know. Brian called.
Oh, did he? No.
No, we won't worry about it. So the Mavs win 126-118. We still are up in the air on Luka. Do you want him to play?
I mean, I do, but I'm gonna go to bed happy tonight that the Mavericks have a 2-1 lead without Luka.
It does.
Of course,
help.
I mean, and we were saying before the series that no matter what the circumstances, we don't, and I think that's kind of no one else thinks the other way, that we don't want him to be playing before he's not either at 100% or close to 100%.
Whatever he's comfortable with. Yeah.
And I think right now, today, I think he was pretty close to it. I think we all thought that, and it was at 5 o'clock when the official report was that he was out, and we're like, okay, well, he's still probably close, and we're probably 100% sure he's going to play Saturday. So if he's good to go, let's take another one, take the wind out of their sails even more, and then end this thing on Monday is game 5, I believe. Monday night at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
Let's end them.
It would be nice to close this thing out Monday at home, not have to worry about it.
Man, this seems like a dagger tonight, honestly. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but
it seems like if
really seems like you took everything out of them tonight.
And if you can come out Saturday and build a decent lead early, yeah, I think you can have them, just crumbled up into a ball. And that's where we need them, because I think they're trying to psych themselves up, like Bogdanovich is going OD on trying to get the crowd into it, and they're trying everything they can to get going. There was even like 5 possessions in a row where they thought we'll get it to Gobert, and he did fine. He had a really cool reverse two-handed jam.
Yeah.
It looked like an old like Patrick Ewing dunk or something. It was cool.
And then he dropped a few passes in the paint also.
He did.
That's Gobert for you.
He scored again when he was the only person on that side of the court.
Yeah, even then he seemed like a receiver too open in the end zone where it's okay.
He kind of fumbled it.
And then I'm going to score.
But yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I would prefer he play Saturday if he's up for it, just to go. If you go up 3-1 on them, I feel like they're dead in the water. They're going to be coming back here, and it's going to be the ultimate collapse. It's going to be what they talk about 5 years from now when they are breaking down what blew up the Jazz ultimately. It'll be that series against the Mavs where they were without Luka for the first 3 games and only won one of those. So I really, really would like them to take game 4. But I am comfortable with how they played over the last 2 games to say they could still accomplish that goal without him.
And if there's no change in his health between now and Saturday afternoon, I don't want him playing. Even if they were just being it was a precaution today, unless he's fully healed by Saturday, I would say don't rush it. Because, yeah, you do have a big luxury right now of having another win against the Jazz. But, I mean, if you're asking me right now if he plays Saturday, I say yes. I said that before the game. I said it at 5 p.m. when he was ruled out for today. I said, okay, he's not going to play in Game 3, but he's going to be back for Game 4. And a win tonight hasn't changed my mind on that. I think he's back Saturday.
Yeah. Let's get out of here. We'll go watch the end of this Golden State-Denver game. I also should point this out. I've seen this in some of the chats. We don't watch the game on this TV. This is
Don't say that. Just keep the...
But people think that we're watching the game on the Michael Scott TV, and you and I are just huddled around it trying to figure out if we can make out who the players are. You know why we're not watching it on there? Because we can't even turn it on. It doesn't even work.
The cable box for the TV is almost as big as the TV itself.
Yeah. I'm not really sure why it's in here.
I don't know.
I guess it's cool decor.
There was a time, like in college, TV. Like that was the size of my TV. I watched everything on a TV that size.
Yeah, I played Call of Duty on that.
Yes. Now we're spoiled.
But no, yeah, we have a huge 100-inch projection screen that Cumulus pays for. We got people fawning us with big leafs.
Mm-hmm. We make so much money.
All right, let's get out of here. Yes, we will be back. We will be back Saturday after the 3:30 start. So we'll be on around 6 or so back here on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, however you watched us. Appreciate you hanging out with us. No, we're all in.
Okay.
If they win,
take note on being all in.
If they win, sweater vest again. If not,